This tutorial is designed to help you get started on Weebly. First, open Internet Explorer or Firefox and type www.weebly.com into the address bar, just like shown here. Step 2. The Weebly sign-up page will open. Fill in your name, email address, and create a password. I recommend using the same password that you use to log onto your computer. You may want to pause now and give yourself an opportunity to complete this step. Step 3. Once you have successfully signed up, you will be asked to select a theme for your website. There are well over 100 themes to choose from, with more added every month. And you can look them over with a quick scroll through our Choose a Theme page. It looks like this. It might be a touch overwhelming to choose exactly which theme you want before you even started working on your site, but there's no need to fret since you can very easily change the theme later. For now, just find a theme that looks good and run with it. Step 4. After you pick a theme, you'll be asked to choose your site's address/domain name. This isn't particularly important until you've finished your site and published it. So if you don't already have an official domain name in mind, the simplest thing to do is select a free domain of Weebly.com using the first option, and then enter whatever seems appropriate at the moment. Much like the theme and the title, this is yet another part of the site that's easy to change. This is what this screen looks like. Go ahead and pause for a minute to give yourself an opportunity to complete steps 3 and 4, picking a theme and choosing a domain. Step 5. Using elements. Elements are the building blocks of a site. All of your text, pictures, video, and other great content are added through elements. Adding an element to a site is as simple as clicking on that element, then dragging and dropping it to a page, as shown below. Take a moment and practice this now while you pause the video. Elements continued. You can add as many elements to a page as you want or need. The page itself will get longer and longer to accommodate however many elements you drag on, as we can see with this example. Elements stack one on top of the other if left to their own devices, but you can also quite easily place them side by side. Just drag one element to the right or left of another element until you see a blue vertical line, just like shown here. Elements continued. When you drop the element, we'll generate 2 columns on the page that place the elements side by side with equal space allotted to each, just as shown here. You can adjust the space between these columns by using the narrow bar that appears between them. Just click and drag to the left or right. More about elements. All elements include 3 basic options: to be deleted, copied, or moved on the page. You'll see each of these options when you scroll over any element. To delete an element. The X in the upper right hand allows you to delete an element. Be careful when deleting though, as a deleted element can't be brought back. Copying an element. The arrow in the upper left allows you to copy an element to the same page or another page. Moving an element. And clicking on the box between the X and the arrow allows you to pick the element up and drag it around the page. Okay, let's talk about adding pictures to your site. Adding pictures to your site works in much the same way as adding text. You're dragging an image element to a page, just as they show you here. You click on the image icon and you drag it to the page. Then you're going to click the Upload Image box to add a picture. This box was right here. This opens up a dialog box presenting several ways to add a photo. The 2 key options are to either upload or drag an image from your own computer or to search through the Weebly stock photo database. You'd click here to add something that's already on your computer, and you'd click here to search to see what Weebly has available. Let's focus on the option to upload a photo from your own computer. The easiest way to approach this is to drag the picture you want to use from your desktop into the box that quite helpfully says Drag Photo Here. You can also click the green Upload a Photo button if it isn't convenient to drag the image over. Let's pause the video and you can practice doing this. The size of a picture will vary after it's uploaded, but it will usually show as wide as the entire site. You can adjust the size of the image by clicking and dragging on the little box that appears in the lower right corner of the image. You'll need to click on the picture to see it. Right here. Clicking on the photo also opens up a settings dialog box that you can use to make further changes. Once again, pause the video and give yourself an opportunity to experiment with these controls and these sizing options. Now that you've had a chance to play around with those yourself, let's talk a little bit more specifically about what these options mean. Lightbox. If you turn this on, then any visitor who clicks the image on your site will be shown a larger version of the same image. It's like on Facebook, when you click on a photo, it gets bigger so you can see it better. Link. This option turns the image into a link. That's if you want the image to link you to something else on your website or something else on another website. We'll cover this a little later in more detail. Spacing. It makes minor adjustments to the amount of white space around the picture. Caption lets you add a basic text caption under the picture. And the advanced allows you to adjust or turn on and off the border around the picture. If you'd like to take an opportunity to play with these controls a little further, now would be a good time to pause. And if you choose the edit image, the blue edit image button, it opens up a simple image editor. This is not going to give you the kind of editing capabilities that Photoshop would, but it will give you some control. It provides some basic options for adding effects. It lets you rotate the image, and it has a crop feature that can cut unwanted parts of the image away. Here is what that editing palette looks like up close. Here's an example of how these tools work. This is the cropping tool. As you can see, they've cropped out some of the outline, made it a little bit smaller. When you choose the crop option, it will place a box over top of the picture. You can click on that box to drag it around and adjust the bubbles on the corners and sides to change the dimensions. Once you've made changes, click OK. If you don't like the changes, you can click Crop again to readjust, or click the gray Cancel button to drop out of the editor. We've cropped the example below to more of a square. We'll keep this change and click the Save button in the upper right. It's orange in this picture right there. And now those changes of the image have been saved. Okay, one of the next things that you'll want to know how to do is to create more than just a home page for your website. And as it says here, creating a new page, it's really just a matter of going to the Pages tab up at the top and clicking Add a Page. Now, as you can see, when you click Add Page, it will come down and it will ask you if you want to create a standard page or a blog page. Let's focus right now on just standard pages. When you select the standard page option, it adds a new page to your list. And here you can see that you'll name it. You'll choose a layout. And then it has some other options here where if you want to hide the page in your navigation menu, if you want to password protect this page, And then there are some additional advanced settings which we can get into later. Adding more pages is just a matter of clicking the Add Page and choosing Standard Page again and again, however many times you need to until you have all the pages that you desire. Each time you name your page here, it will be located under the pages in your website over here. For instance, if you're a math teacher, maybe you want to put it into chapters. Maybe you want to put it into concepts. If you're a science teacher, maybe you want to put it into items for quizzes or things for a test. It's really up to you how you want to organize this. And as you add and name each of your pages, they automatically become part of your site's navigation bar. And what I mean by that is, on your home page, you'll have options of which page to choose. And as you can see here, they have the Welcome, the Americas, Asia, Europe, just like they showed up here. You can rearrange the order of the pages by clicking and dragging them up and down the pages list. Dragging a page to the top, the list will make that your home. The home page can be renamed whatever you like. The name for this site's home has been changed to Welcome. Changing the order of pages in the list will also change the order in which they're displayed in the navigation. You can also create sub-pages of other pages. You can do this by dragging a page or pages underneath and to the right of another page, as shown here. These sub-pages appear in the drop-down menu when you scroll over the page to which you connected them to. To edit the content of a page, just click on its link from the navigation menu or go to the Pages tab, select the page from the list, and click the Edit Page button. Take some time now, before you go on to the next section of the video, to experiment with adding a page to your website. Okay, so you've gotten this far with your website. You'll notice that all websites have a header or an image at the top of each page. Now, it's probably not likely that you're going to want to use this default image, and so it's very, very simple to change. So, first of all, scroll over the header image and click the Edit Image button as you see here. Depending on your theme, you'll be prompted by one of two interfaces. Either one that asks you to select background, as shown here, or one that asks you to add an image, as shown here. Let's start looking at the option that prompts you to add an image, and then we'll come back to the change background after that. Following the Add Image option will open up a dialog box that allows you to upload an image from your own computer or to search for an image from the Flickr Creative Commons stock photo library. Once you upload or find an image, you'll be able to edit that image. This particular image is taller than the banner area. So you would likely want to crop it, and header images can be resized using little bubbles at each corner and the side of the image. And an image can be dragged to better fit the header by clicking anywhere on it and dragging it. These are the tools that are provided at the top of the page to add or text or add effects to your image if you need to. Once you're happy with your image, select Save to be sure it gets saved in that format. You can use the arrow to the right of the Save button to choose whether to save the image to every page of the site, just this page, or to select only certain pages to save it to. That way you can have different headers on different pages if you'd like. And then here's how that image looks with the saved image on that header. Based on your theme, if you're prompted to select background when you change the header, then the process is slightly different. You'll first see a dialog box that contains a collection of stock photos that you're welcome to use. Or you can upload an image from your own computer using the Upload Image option in the lower left of that same dialog box, as you see right here. Whichever direction you choose, you'll be presented with some basic image editing tools to blur or darken the image so any text overlaid above it stands out more, and to save the image only to this one page or to any other pages that are using the same kind of page layout as the one you're working on. Take an opportunity now to pause the video and change your header image. Early on in creating your website, you were asked to choose a theme, and at that time you were told not to worry too much about it because it's easily changed. Well, as you begin to develop your website further, you may decide that you would like to change your theme, and so here are the simple steps that you need to take in order to do that. Go to the tab that says Design, and then go to the option that says Change Theme. There are over 100 themes to choose from, and many of the individual themes include a variety of color choices that impact the look of different parts of that theme. When you scroll over a theme, you're given the option to preview it, as you can see here. Previewing shows exactly how your own pictures and content would appear in this new theme. If you like the theme, you can choose it. If you don't, you can cancel and look through some of the other themes. Here's the choose button and the cancel button in the upper right hand corner. You can also sort themes by category and popularity if you'd prefer not to scroll through all of them. So, if at this point you think you would like to change your theme, practice doing that now. Another change that you may want to make to your website as you get further into developing it is the fonts. Each theme includes a default font for all the text on your website, but you can change these on the Change Fonts area under the Design tab. This is the same tab that you went to in order to change your theme. So you click the Design tab, and then under that you'll choose Change Fonts. Now in this, there is a brief video embedded in here that you can watch on your own if you like. It'll be included in the links that I send you. But let's go over it below. There's lots of font controls to choose from in this section, but only a few of them have much impact on the overall look of your site. The most important of these settings is called paragraph text. So let's use this one as our example. Paragraph text controls the default font for all text elements you add to your site. You can change the font family, size, weight, and color. There are a little over 100 font families available. Each of these is what is known as a web-safe font. This means any person using any browser on any computer will be able to view this font without any trouble. The font size can be any number you like, but unless you're specifically changing the font size for titles, we recommend keeping that size between 12 and 20 pixels for your text elements, to make sure the text is large enough to read, yet not so large as to make it feel like you're screaming at your visitors, or in this case your students. The weight of the font includes bold, regular, and light. This just has to do with how thick or thin the letters appear. And then the color option opens up a color swatch that you can change. I recommend, however, using a color that's in stark contrast to the color of your background. Don't use things that are difficult to read. All the various font controls found in this section contain the same options. Each one is simply controlling a different part of the site. As mentioned previously, paragraph text controls the font for all of your text elements. Paragraph title control title elements. Navigation controls your site's navigation bar, and so on from there. You can see exactly what will be changed on a page by scrolling over the individual control. This highlights in blue exactly which kind of text will be changed by these updates. Take a moment now to pause the video and experiment with your fonts, both the size and the weight and the different settings like the paragraph text and the titles and the navigations, etc. Starting a blog on your website might seem like a fairly advanced thing to do and might seem like it's not something you want to do right now, but in reality it's really very simple to do and it has a lot of usefulness. It's very, very easy for you as the teacher to post a discussion question or to post something for thought or a bell ringer or anything like that you would like to use your blog for on your blog. And then by using the comments and reply feature, students can then reply to that. It's a really useful tool to have in a one-to-one classroom, so I want to show you how to do that. You go to the same place you went to when we added a regular page, but this time instead of adding a standard page, we're going to add a blog page. And this will add the blog to your list of pages. You probably don't want to call it blog. You probably want to call it whatever it is that you're going to use that blog for. Maybe you have a blog for your book you just read, and you have a blog about their independent reading, if you're a reading teacher. If you're a math teacher, maybe you have a blog that has to do with bell ringers, and then maybe you have another blog that has to do with projects. So depending on what your blog is going to be used for, you're going to want to name it appropriately. And then you'll choose a layout, just like before. You do not want to hide this page. You want students to be able to get to it. And then you save and edit. A new blog starts with a sidebar with some default content that you can easily change, and also gives you the option to add a new post. This is where you would post a discussion question or a bell ringer or whatever it is that you wanted to use it for. On the right side here are some things that you would want to fill in your own information. To create a new post for your blog, use that new post button. Your blog post has a title and a content area. This title should generally be short, no more than a sentence long or so. The content area includes a basic paragraph element which you can either edit or delete. For example, if your question for the students is only 5 words long, then you can probably get by with putting it just in the title. If there's more to it, you're going to want to put it in the body of it. Adding content to a blog post works the same way as adding content to any page. You just drag the elements into the post and edit them to add content. If you want to add text, you drag it here, you put in the text you want, and then they save it. Once you've added your content, you can categorize the posts. These categories will appear on your sidebar, making it easier for visitors to find posts that cover specific topics. This would be true if you're using a blog for many different things in your classroom. Let's say you're using a blog and one of them is for your short story that you're writing, one of them is for the poem that you're writing, one of them is for the book that you're reading if you're a language arts teacher. You don't want those all those blogs to be together, so you separate them that way. When you're done, you can publish the post to your live site, which will make it instantly available for visitors, or save to drafts to edit and publish it later. If you save the post as a draft, it will be accessible to you through a drafts area at the top of the blog page from within the editor. Just click the link to the post from this draft area to edit it further and save or publish. It will look like this. Every new post you publish will appear at the very top of the page, pushing older posts further down. After you've added 7 or 8 posts to the page, older posts will be moved off the main page to still accessible archive pages. One of the last things you'll do as you get started with your Weebly is to publish the content that you've developed so far. Now, publishing it does not mean it's final. It does not mean that you can't ever change anything. It simply means it creates it to be a live link or a live presence on the internet. That way, students, other teachers, whomever you direct to your site can get there. If it remains unpublished, nobody but you can access it. So now that you've added some basic content, that's really a pretty good time to publish it. To do so, you just use the publish button in the upper right hand corner of the editor, like you see here. When you click publish, you'll get a verification box that lets you know that your site has been published. You can click on the published address that's printed in blue, or you can give that address out, send it out in an email as a link. You can write it on your board for students. You can use Facebook and Twitter to help people link to your site. However you want to do that to make sure people can find your site. Maybe you're not where you want to be yet and you don't want anybody to find your site. That's okay. You can continue editing as long as you choose, and each time you finish editing, you click publish again. Then, once you feel confident that your site is ready to use, particularly for students, then you'll want to share that with them. Like I said, you can continue to add content. It's never a finished product. Your website that you use for your classroom is always going to be a work in progress, because I suspect you'll always be changing and adding and putting new information on there as your time in the classroom goes. If you should need to unpublish your site, it's very easy to do by going to the settings and clicking on unpublish. This is the end of this video. There are many other tutorials available on the web, and now is a time for you to practice all of these things that we have discussed here today in your own Weebly. Thanks.